Good morning. Let's grow with Yo-Yo fam. How are you all doing this morning? This is your girl Yo-Yo, and this is your Car Chronicles. I have been sitting back, observing, people's posts and everything, and not being a creep, but trying to do research on Project 2025, the candidates that are going to be in this upcoming election. Again, I'm going to keep saying this. We have 433 seats coming up in the House and 33 seats coming up in the Senate. It's not just about the presidency, y'all. It's about everything. Your state representatives, your local representatives, and the presidency. We say this about every election, but this election can determine the trajectory of this country, where this country is going to go. How is it going to sustain? Are we going to go backwards to before 1950, where everything was segregated? You had to have freedom papers, all this stuff. So, and if you don't believe me or anybody else that says this stuff, go do the research yourself. Don't just take face value for what I say or what other creators say about this election and how it's very important. Do the research for yourself. I know some people are set in their ways because Trump gave people a stimulus check. I saw a post yesterday about a young lady who did the research herself and was like, we were right that the Republicans voted against the stimulus check, but yet they took credit for something they voted against. And Trump didn't want to give a stimulus check, but because we were going to get a stimulus check, he wanted to put his name on it. Y'all don't take that as something that he's doing something for the people. It's self-gratification. That's what it is. And he doesn't care about nobody but himself. The Conservative Party, they just, want things back the way they used to be. I just had to get that out because I feel that this country is going in the wrong turn. I'm not gonna be no Handmaid's Tale. I'm not gonna go back. I'm thinking about the future of my children and their children and their children's children, right? I lived in a generation for 50 plus years where Roe v. Wade was the law of the land. When affirmative action was actually helping people. And then let me bring this up too, that there's going to be 2 Supreme Court justices that are going to retire if Trump gets in office. And that means that Trump can elect 2 more Supreme Court justices. And you know what that means? We're screwed. You think what's the 3 that he put in there before were bad? Just imagine who he puts in there next if he gets back in office, right? And let's say by chance they have to retire if Biden becomes president again. Then Biden could put 2 more Supreme Court justices in there, and that would make it an even kill, right? I just want us to think about the future, not just for our self-gratification, right? But for if you have children and your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, your great-great-great-grandchildren, think about their future. Think about the fact that there's something going on with the climate. There's something going on with our oceans. There's something going on in this country that can change our world. And we don't want that to happen. Right? I just feel, we are in a society that, when I talk to my daughter and some of her people, her friends, both of my daughters, I try to tell them, you don't have to vote the way I vote. You can vote the way you want to vote. You can do what you want to do. But let me give you the pros and the cons. right? I live in Texas, and we have a dumb attorney general, and Hot Wheels, you know, the governor, he's showing his colors now, right? And I told them, if Trump was to get back in office, you think Greg Abbott is gonna be bad? Is bad now. He's gonna get a whole lot worse. But I just want people to really sit back and think, and not just about the self-gratification of yourself and what you believe. I mean, don't get me wrong, your morals and your beliefs should be top tier and you should stand by them. But we have to think about our children and our families. That's what the generation, my father's generation, his parents' generation did when they was out there marching, when they was out there protesting, when they were out there doing what they needed to do to make sure that their children and their children's children had a safe country, and a country where they can vote, a country where a woman can have an abortion if she was raped, had incest, or if she couldn't afford to have another child. It was her choice, right? If she wanted to get her tubes tied, that was her choice. But now I'm looking at my daughters and thinking about when they have children. They don't have children, but when they have children, or my adopted daughters, as I call them, when their children get older, that they're not going to have, you know, they have girls, they're not going to have autonomy over their own body. They're not going to have what we witnessed, what we had the freedom to do. And then, it's just not about abortion, but it's about not projecting your beliefs onto me. Because in the Constitution, we have the freedom of religion, we have the freedom of speech. So you're telling me that just because I'm not a Christian and I don't believe the way you believe, that you're going to take my right and my rights and my freedom away from me because of your Christian values. Listen, that's not how Jesus walked. That's not how Jesus walked this earth. Jesus preached the gospel and gave you a choice whether you believed it or not, whether you wanted to follow him or not. And if you didn't want to believe what he believed or didn't want to follow him, he moved on. When he went back to his where he was born, where he was raised, and the people was like, aren't you the carpenter's son? Aren't you, so-and-so? They didn't believe him. He preached what he had to preach, and he left. He didn't force nobody to believe anything, and that's where I want people to understand. Do I believe in abortion? Let me back up. I've had an abortion. That was my freedom at that time. So looking back, and now that I'm walking better with the Lord and all this other stuff, would I have had an abortion then? Probably so. But because it was rape and stuff like that. So yes. But as far as pushing my beliefs on somebody because you don't believe in same-sex marriage, you don't believe in this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? In America, you have the freedom to love who you want to love. You have the freedom to have sex with whoever you want to have sex with, right? We shouldn't take those freedoms away from somebody. Just like people have freedom of speech, they could go out there and protest, and now they want to take your right to protest away. We have to do better in this country. We have to do better when we go and vote. We have to start basic civics. If you don't know it, learn it. Everybody vote count, and they want to take that away also. If your vote didn't count, they wouldn't be trying so hard to take it away. Anyway, that's my rant today as I'm on my way to work. I love you all. Have a great day.